my name is Josephine, and today I'm going to be talking about Their Eyes Were Watching God, a novel written by Zora Neale Hurston. Specifically, I'll be analyzing one of the themes that I derive from the novel and through the psychoanalytical lens, the lens that uses literature as an expression of the subconscious mind. So my theme is, in Their Eyes Were Watching God, Janie had to learn through many different experiences that projecting your needs onto others will not make them any happier. Ultimately, you can never force happiness, especially when you expect others to be happy due to what makes you happy. Otherwise, both parties will end up hurting. So, in the beginning of the story, Janie talks about her childhood. She goes on about her grandmother loved her more than anything in the world and would do anything to give her the best life she could possibly have. And because she had a traumatic and very depressing past, always working for others, never taking breaks, and even being abused by the wife of her boss, her grandmother believed that a safe future was better than a free future for Janie. And since she was in ailing health and felt that Janie was too innocent for such a corrupt and cruel world, she forced Janie to marry Mr. Logan Killix, who was, although 3 times older than her, was financially stable and was able to give her the comfortable life that she's always wanted. And thought that that was the life for her. Of course, Janie did not want to marry him. She was 16 and was horrified at the thought of marrying such an old man. But since that was her grandmother's last and only wish, she obliged, naively believing that her grandmother will be happy forever and that maybe the marriage could eventually lead into love between the two of them, creating the perfect happily ever after. Of course, that didn't happen. In the beginning, it was okay, but soon she realized that the love she had hoped for with him would never happen. Despite trying so hard to help make their marriage work out, she found out and discovered that everything that she tried convincing herself to believe was a lie. She was not only disappointed but empathetic. It did not feel right for her to have a one-sided relationship, and she felt bad that she was in some ways taking advantage of his love for her. And since she didn't love him, he got mad, thinking that she was just spoiled and didn't want to work for him or with him, and that was the reason why their relationship wasn't working out. And because of these reasons, their relationship just crumbled away, and both of them had to suffer because of it. Even if it did make her grandmother happy for a small moment, because it was based off of her traumatic past that she didn't want Janie to have, and the false hopes that they'd live happily ever after, it was bound to be short-term. Worse yet, now that her grandmother wasn't here to assure her that everything was going to be alright, there was no one to benefit from it. Everything was done for nothing, yet they were the only two that had to endure the aftermath. The theme that happiness cannot be forced is also reflected during her next marriage, with the wife, as the wife of Mr. Joe Starks. So, because she was the mayor's wife, she had many expectations, not just from him, but others around her as well, on how to dress, what she should be doing, and even how she should wear her hair, whether it should be up or down. And since the town people wanted to have Janie's status and to be rich and more refined like she was, they expected her to use her husband and her money in the ways that they thought they would. And because she wanted to meet those expectations to please everyone and fit in, she wasn't able to take care of herself and never advocated for what she wanted. Not only was her relationship worn, but she also had to distance herself from other people because she couldn't be herself. And that prevented either her or the townspeople from approaching each other and developing the relationships that they could have had. Both Janie and her grandmother had good intentions to appease others and assure their happiness, but no one gained anything from that, and people were more hurt than happy because of it. And shortly after Mr. Stark's death, she meets and falls in love with Tea Cake, running away to elope with him. Here she's finally realizing that she couldn't make everyone like her, and that she shouldn't base her happiness off of others and vice versa. That she is the one in charge of her own happiness, and that she should put herself first despite any criticisms that others might have. The author uses her relationship with him to prove that doing what you want to do, any amount of happiness is enough. When he was alive, she didn't mind working because it was with him. And because being with him, and because she was happy, he was content. It didn't matter if Janie wasn't as rich as she was with the other guys in her life. It just mattered that they were together because that's what made each other happy. And they were in charge of their own happiness. Although the relationship being Jane was her shortest, they were it was the one that Janie treasured the most. And at the end of the story, after Tea Cake's death on page 193, the author writes, he, Tea Cake, could never be dead until she herself had finished feeling and thinking. The kiss of his memory made pictures of love and light against the wall. Here was peace. She pulled in her horizon like a great fishnet. She called in her soul to come and see. So here, the author talks about how being Tea Cake, would stay with her forever, no matter whether he was dead or alive. Even though she tried to love the other two men, it was Tea Cake who was able to give her the happiness and love that she's always wanted. And he was the one that she could love unconditionally, not for anyone else but the two of them. It didn't matter that their marriage lasted for such a short time, or even that he died. They were both able to do what made them the most happy, which was being together. And because she was with him, she had no more regrets. I didn't say this before, but throughout the entire book, the horizon is used as a symbol to represent all of her dreams. And being with him allowed her to see that. He allowed her to live her most fulfilled life, and due to this, she was able to be satisfied with the rest of her life, and felt that she still has and always will have access to the metaphorical horizon. So, all in all, the author's portrayal of Janie's unhappiness in her marriage and experiences reflects the theme that projecting your needs onto others is damaging and can be a barrier to reaching true happiness. Once Janie had put her happiness first, she was able to reach self-actualization and do what made her feel happy without worrying about anyone else or the consequences that she came with. This shows that true happiness is not based on anyone's needs or desires except for one's own. All of this depicts the theme that forcing happiness, especially based off what makes you happy, will not please but instead hurt everyone. Thank you so much. That's it.